Hey everyone, welcome back to DCF Garage, and today I will share with you everything you need to know to properly change the spark plugs on your motorcycle. This is a 2004 VTX 1800C, but what I'm going to share basically applies to any motorcycle. It's the same thing. So the main reason I'm changing out the plug is because I want to put a cooler plug. The plugs are not bad, they're in overall good shape, but I need to ride with cooler plugs in such a hot weather, and because I always ride at highway speeds. Also, I noticed while I was doing maintenance the last time that I had a little bit of carbon fouling, and that could have been for two reasons. Reason number one is a bad ground. So a bad ground can lead to weak spark and unburnt fuel at the spark plug, and that's going to generate some carbon fouling. So weak ground, I took care of that when I did the maintenance on the bike. If you haven't seen, I'll leave the link up here for the video where I did the ground work on the bike. Second reason was that I was using 93 octane gas, and that's a no-no for this bike. This bike is a low compression, it's a 9-to-1 compression, and it's not made for premium fuel. I thought I was doing a good thing for my bike by putting, the most expensive premium fuel, but being a low compression engine, what this engine likes is 89 octane gas. So that could have been another reason why I was getting some unburnt fuel at the spark plug. So I took care of the ground, and I have been filling up the bike with the right fuel for the bike, which is what's recommended in the manual. So shame on me for not reading the manual. Another super important tip, you cannot change the spark plugs when the engine is hot. If you try to torque down a spark plug in a hot engine, what's gonna happen? You're probably gonna destroy the threads because it's gonna be a little bit wider than it should, right? Or than it would be when it's cold. Don't forget that. And also, I'm gonna do an oil change. So I think it's been probably, I don't know, 8 months since I've changed the oil. I should have done with 6 months. I like to keep up with maintenance. We don't ride a lot these days, but still, you don't want to let the oil bake inside your engine, right? If you want your bike to last, you gotta keep up with maintenance. So let's pull out the spark plugs, and I will show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's get to it. Now that we've taken out the covers, we have access to the spark plugs. Just pull on the cable. Got my spark plug socket over here. Let's break it loose. This one is actually a good spark plug. There is almost no carbon deposit. There is a little bit, and this one is an IFR 5L11. So these are a cooler spark plug. So the front spark plug, yeah, this one has got a little bit more carbon, but still, it's a good plug. It's not a bad plug. Now let's check the other side. I think these are tighter than the actual plugs. Pull these out. Okay, now here, you got a little bit of carbon foul at the back cylinder versus this one, for example, that does not have. And I can see that I've got some carbon up to the thread, so that might have been because I did not tighten the plug enough. So this one is actually pretty good. It's not bad at all. Now let's compare the old plug to the new plug. You can see there's no noticeable difference. From the outside, they are exactly the same plug. It's just how it ignites internally, and the architecture internally is different. So I'm going to leave a picture right here so you guys see the difference between a cooler and a hotter plug. So that's basically the difference. Outside, there's no difference. Now let's install the new plugs on the bike. Now, I told you I was going to share with you everything you needed to know. So first thing, you have to have the right spark plug, obviously. So I have the one that is recommended by the manufacturer, not just the brand, the spec. don't cheap out on the spark plug. This is critical. Second, every spark plug has to have the right gap for the engine, right? Each engine works with a different spark plug gap. Now, in this case, iridium and platinum spark plugs, they come pre-gapped. Do not try to gap. You're gonna break the tip. You're gonna just destroy the spark plug. Don't do that. And I can show you here that the gap is 41 thousandths of an inch, which is the right gap for this engine. So they come pre-gapped. It's the right spark plug. It has the correct gap. It is the temperature that I want. And now I'm gonna install. So first thing, on these types of spark plugs, right? The ones that, basically any good spark plug, platinum, iridium spark plug, you do not need to put NECs. Basically, if your spark plug is shiny like this, kind of chrome, it does not need NECs. If you put NECs here, there's a risk that you're gonna over torque the spark plug on your engine. And by the way, this is aluminum. It's very easy to destroy the threads. Don't put NECs on these spark plugs because they're made to work without NECs, okay? Now, second, when you put it in, you're gonna have to thread it in by hand, okay? So I'm just gonna drive it in by hand first, as much as I can. Now, I have my torque meter here, and I'm gonna set it to 13 foot-pounds, which is the right torque spec. So let's torque it. So I put the spark plug in and I torqued it to 13 foot-pounds. So I'm done, right? Nothing else you need to do. Wrong. If you leave it in like this, what's gonna happen is your plug is under torqued and you might get blow-by on your plug. It might come loose all the way. It might ruin the threads. You need to add an additional, in my bike's case, quarter turn. So I tighten it to 13 foot-pounds and I do a quarter turn. All right, now it's tight. And this only works for new spark plugs. Press it in all the way, make sure it's in all the way. So that's it, guys. That's all you need to know to properly replace the spark plugs on your motorcycle. So I hope this video was useful. If it was, remember to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And also stick around if you want for a while because I'm going to replace the oil now.